write about Bill C-23, a bill likely to pass in this session of Parliament. Several airports in Canada have a functioning U.S. Customs screening area, meaning if you're taking a trip to the USA, you can completely clear U.S. Customs before you even leave Canadian soil. Bill C-23 affects how these checkpoints would work, but it's a little complicated to explain, so let's convert this into language all Canadians understand: Tim Hortons coffee. So you own a strip mall, and one of your tenants is Tim Hortons. Today you're going to Tim Hortons to pick up your morning coffee, a bagel, and a box of Timbits. For the office. Or for you. We all have bad days. You walk in and place your order with your cashier. Your cashier asks you why you want a coffee today. What are you planning on doing with your coffee? Have you or your immediate family members ever ordered from a foreign coffee chain before? What do you think of Daniel Schwartz, the current CEO of Tim Hortons? Your cashier asks to see your phone and wants to know if you've ever negatively tweeted about honey crullers before. Let's say at this point you've decided you've had enough. You say, never mind, I'll get a booster juice. Have a great day. And right now that's fine, you're legally allowed to do that. But let's apply C-23 type regulations to this scenario. Under C-23 type regulations, your Tim Hortons cashier could pull you into the back room. You could legally be held there and forced to answer questions about your coffee preferences and why you decided not to order a double-double today. There's no clear time limit on how long they could detain you. You could be held against your will by tenants in a strip mall that you own. This is what Bill C-23 does. It allows U.S. Customs and Border Patrol to detain Canadian citizens and Canadian permanent residents on Canadian soil, even if you change your mind and decline to enter the USA. There's a bit more to this bill, so let's go back to our Tim Hortons example. Let's say that Tim Hortons has detained you for a while and they're extremely suspicious of you. They want to make sure you're not hiding something on your physical person. Now, your strip mall has a very clear and specific strip search policy built right into the lease, like all democratic strip malls do. Strip searches are only to be performed by an employee of the strip mall, named Becky in this example. If Tim Hortons wants a strip search, they have to ask Becky to do it, and Becky has to agree to do it. Tim Hortons employees can be present, but Becky is the one asking you to squat and cough. Under C-23 type rules, your strip mall's policy on strip searches would completely disappear. Tim Hortons could call up Becky and say, hey Becky, we got a guy down here, I think he's hiding some Arby's in his pants, will you come check for us? And even if Becky says the guy's fine, trust me, I'm not doing a strip search, Tim Hortons employees could perform the strip search anyway without her approval or her presence. Under current law, physical searches must be performed by a Canadian Border Patrol officer. U.S. officers can be present, but they cannot conduct the search. Under C-23, U.S. officers could conduct the searches themselves, regardless of whether a Canadian officer deems it necessary. Under C-23 type regulations, if your strip mall employees were entitled to carry a gun, Tim Hortons employees would also be able to carry a gun. Now, most Canadian Border Patrol officers do not carry a gun on the job, but if that changes and C-23 is in place, guess what U.S. Border Patrol can start carrying? That's right, a gun. What we're talking about. Good job paying attention. And we're not even done yet. So under current laws, Canadian Border Patrol agents stationed in U.S. airports and U.S. cities have to let Canadian citizens and Canadian permanent residents back into the country. And under C-23, if you're a Canadian citizen, that would not change. But if a Canadian Border Patrol agent in a U.S. city suspects that a Canadian permanent resident has violated the terms of their residency obligations, they can boot you out of the airport and you will have to return to Canada via a land border. Now, the level of challenge this presents obviously depends on where it happens to you. If it happens in Buffalo, New York, that's really inconvenient and expensive and still not very fair. But what if it happens in Hawaii, where you can't get home? What are you going to do, just take up surfing? That seems impractical. So Bill C-23 extends the power of U.S. border control in Canada, allowing them to detain you in your own country with no real legal cause. And if you're a legal permanent resident, you might have a little bit of trouble coming home next time you leave the country to go to the USA. I've included more information about this bill in the description box below, and if it really concerns you, you should contact your MP, especially if your MP is a Liberal MP, because they're the guys that introduced this bill in Parliament. And that, my friends, is how you explain Bill C-23 using Tim Hortons. I hope you enjoyed it. Now I need a coffee. Whew. That's all for now, guys. If you like this video, please click subscribe, and remember to hit the little bell beside subscribe. It'll give you notifications and let you know when I upload a new video. Otherwise, you'll never know, and I'll never know, and we'll just be stumbling in the dark together. That came out wrong. You can also check other videos from me out. They're right here. There's a couple of options for you. And of course, today's random end card fact. In response to the publication of the Lorax, logging companies wrote the Truax, teaching kids about the importance of logging worldwide. Who says you can't trust corporations to do good, eh?